Srikanth from chowchowbath.com, and today I bring to you a review of the iPhone 4S 32GB in comparison to the Google Nexus 4 made by LG, which was released very recently. As you would all be knowing, the release of the Google Nexus 4 made it so popular that the phone sold out within minutes of launch each time that it came into stock. So it would be useful for me to show you almost about 15 features in comparison between the two phones, so that you are a better judge for yourself which of these phones is a good buy. Shall we begin then? So let's go ahead and compare some of the features between these two phones now. So the first one to look at is the screen. So as you can see, I have the iPhone 4S on my right with a 3.5-inch screen, and on the left I have the Nexus 4, which has got a 4.7-inch gorgeous display, which is much bigger than the iPhone. Thereby it supports a lot of other things, like I can see a lot of icons in one stretch like that. So coming to the RAM, the iPhone 4S has got only 512 MB RAM, whereas the Nexus 4 on the left here, it's got a whopping 2 GB RAM. So obviously you can expect that the transitions are extremely speedy, and I can give you a demo of that. The iPhone 4S also doesn't do badly when it comes to navigation. So as you can see here, it's pretty zippy. There's a little bit of glitch, but nothing very disturbing. So you can see that. Okay, we'll try that on the Nexus 4 now. So here we are the apps, and look at how fast the widget pages move. I'll do this again. There you go. There you go. Pretty slick and fast. So the next feature here is the keypad, which I'll show you in a moment now. Let's take the iPhone keypad and start typing something here. Yeah, there it is. Right. So if I need to type, this is a keypad. I need to do this. This is a keypad. There you go. So there's no spelling correction or anything like that on the iPhone. So on the Nexus 4, let me just type a new note here, and yeah, there comes the keypad, and I want to type something here. So it's pretty zippy. I can just swipe across the screen like that. Just a moment. There you go. So this is how the Google has implemented the keypad. So you can see that if I press my hand here, it will show all the word replacements for the word keypad, which I can then choose. It also has things like if I press the dot key, it shows all the symbols there. There you go. So any key that you press, it also has voice dictation here, just below here. And it's very fast, and you can actually type a lot of words very quickly compared to the iPhone. And definitely in the keypad area, the Google Nexus 4 scores one up on the iPhone, which is yet to implement any kind of spelling correction or suggestions or anything like that, even in the later versions of iOS, which is actually a bit of a shame, but I guess they will implement it sooner or later. The next feature then is the notification bar. I'll just pull it down here. So that's the notification bar. So I have notifications. So I have the weather, then I have the stock ticker, then I have I can tap to post into Facebook, or I can tap to tweet. Twitter and Facebook are extremely well integrated in the iOS. So other than that, I have some notifications which I can actually clear by touching there. The touch is extremely sensitive on the iOS. So similarly, you have the notification bar here from Google. So if you see that I do have one notification already there. So if I have an SMS, mails, everything, it will show down here. So if I go to the settings, I have all the quick settings here. I've got the Wi-Fi, I've got the cellular info, I've got the battery info there. I've got the airplane mode here, I've got the Bluetooth, I've got the brightness, and I have all the other settings there. So basically the notification bar is very informative in Google. Apple's notifications are also very nice by itself, but when it comes to showing more on the screen in the notification area, I think, and especially with the quick settings, Google really is one step ahead of Apple, who are yet to implement any quick settings. The only way I can change my settings in iOS is if I go here and if I go here. So originally the Bluetooth was Bluetooth and the personal hotspot were pretty inside, and then they have brought it outside. Especially the Bluetooth was into some other menus which people were uncomfortable switching it on, so they brought it outside here. So even with this, the Google notification bar is much better, I would say, compared to the Apple one. As I said, I would like to show you the notification bar. I've just got 2 messages, and if you click those messages, it will open my email, and you can see that if I don't want a message, I can just swipe it in Google. You know, the interfaces are well made here. You can take a look. It's just getting swiped out of the Google. You can either archive, and you can even undo what you archived. The next feature that I'd like to show you is actually the task killer in both. So if there are some tasks running on the Apple, if I actually, sorry, I got the Siri app. So if I just press the home key twice, I get all the list of running tasks. So there you see all the list of running tasks. And if I want to kill them, I need to hold them until they start jiggling around, and I need to start killing each one of them by pressing that red button down there, that one there. So they get killed. So on the Google there is this button down here. So if I just press that, it's a haptic feedback button. So if I press that, it will show me the list of running tasks like that, and whatever I don't want, I can just wipe it out. So if you see the animations, it's pretty good. So it just dims out and it just goes out. So that's how I kill tasks. So for task killing, definitely Google is more smoother and easier compared to Apple. Apple's also easy, but it's kind of a bit childish at this point of time when and it's designed for people of all ages who are not necessarily technology oriented, and they want some easy way of removing the tasks that are running in the system. So when it comes to killing tasks in a slightly technical perspective, I think Google does very well. So you can see that. It's pretty neat, I would say. Next off, we have the widgets. There are no ways to add any more widgets here, whereas in Google I can always add a widget by pressing my hand there. So I will get firstly I get all wallpapers and anything from the gallery, whereas if I don't want that, I can go to this menu, I can go to widgets here, and for example I can just choose a clock, and class me to place it wherever I want. So there you go. I can even move it out of here. So maybe the clock is not visible so much, so let me choose, let's say, the AVG widget. If I place it here, there you see. So that's the widget there. So, and if you don't want the widgets, you can always hold your hand and get it until you see the red and then remove it. Same goes with the clock. I'll try to remove it now. There you go. You got the red and you removed. So it's in terms of widgets, I can add a lot of widgets here. I've already added a few of them. This is a quick settings widget, and then you have the music player widget, and then you have the Facebook post widget here. It's a bit light, you cannot see this properly, I think. So definitely adding widgets is one of the plus points of the Google Nexus 4, which is definitely not there in the iOS 6 for some reasons best known to Apple. If you ask me in terms of usability, definitely I prefer widgets to not having them, because I can always add what I want. It could be emails, it could be news tickers, news feeds, it could be clocks, anything that I really like, which I want to see it on either my home screen or the other screens, other pages on the screen. So coming to the charging interfaces, Apple uses a proprietary 30-pin connector, and more recently something that they call as Lightning connector, which is again proprietary, whereas Google uses the standard micro USB charger. Definitely Apple is more involved, more interested in making their suppliers make more accessories, and both of them together make more money fleecing customers, whereas Google is more interested in showing functionality along with form, and they just stick to accepted interfaces and accepted software over which they do their modifications. So definitely the charging interfaces, you're definitely going to find a cable with your friend which will fit the Nexus, whereas not necessarily so if your friend's got a non-Apple phone. So here is a +1 to Google on that. On the volume rocker, I think both the phones are equally. So you have the volume rocker on the iPhone there, and I can show you the volume rocker on the Google phone there. You can see it there. So both of them has got the volume rocker similar. The indications are slightly different when you press the volume rocker, but nevertheless, I think in terms of function, both lie in the same area. So that's the volume rocker function there, and that's the volume rocker function for the Google. One of the most interesting features that I like about Google is the Google Now. So if you swipe your hand from there, it'll bring up cards which, like, it'll show you the temperature and other information. Like if there are any restaurants nearby, it'll show you that also. And depending on where you go, see, this is a restaurant which is nearby my home. It also shows the food menu and all that. So you can say more details, etc. So that kind of thing is contextual thing is not there in iPhone, except that you'll need to use the Siri feature to which you can talk to get the answers that you want. The equivalent of that on the Google phone is the Google Voice. So we will do a comparison of both in just a moment. So one of my favorite questions that I ask is for the phones to bring me the pictures of a particular temple in Tamil Nadu. The reason is it's a bit complicated question, and only good voice recognition systems can understand what I'm trying to say. So let's try it out right now. Show me pictures of the Brihadishwara temple.
If you like, I can search the web for pictures of the weather visual embellish.
So the Apple iPhone didn't quite get that. If you see the Google, it's already given me the pictures of the Brihadishwara temple in Tanjore. So this is definitely one up on Apple, and even though Apple is tailored for India, I doubt if they're going to reach this kind of accuracy anytime in the near future. So definitely hats off to you, Google, for this kind of implementation, and it'll come a long way in asking for things using voice, wherein you get immediate results, especially when you're driving and stuff like that. Another small but interesting feature is, it's there in both, but it's just about the text selection. So let's go to Notepad. Let's go to Evernote here in this. Yeah. So basically, if I just double click this, if you see the text selection interface, it's extremely good. It gives a magnifying glass, it's done extremely neatly. Whereas if I try the same thing here, it gives a very ugly marker down there. So if I select the text, it becomes even more ugly. And Google's not implemented this pretty well. They can actually fine-tune the interfaces, but it is quite functional, and it has a cut, copy, paste button on top, and it gives the menu here, Apple. So both have different variations of implementing the same thing, but I think here definitely Apple is concentrated on keeping it slim and really interesting too. Another thing I want to show is about the scrolling feature. So if you scroll to the last page, the animation just does that much. So I'll show you the same thing on Google. You see there is a page animation saying it cannot go any further. So if you go to the left, it's the same thing, it shows on the other side. This is a very interesting pane kind of thing which Google actually uses to show that you cannot go any further on this. Let's see another feature now, which is the scrolling user interfaces. So here I have a mail. I'll scroll it on the Google, and you can see that at the end of the mail, so I'm scrolling up, I'll scroll down. At the end of the mail, you can see that there is a blue bar here where my thumb is. So there's a blue bar that appears below saying that you cannot scroll anymore. Can you see that? So this is the upper part of the mail. It appears on top as well. So there, it appears there. So this is all I can do. So if you see this, it just gives a bouncy effect on the Apple, but not definitely a color based indication that there's nothing more left to scroll. So these are some of the user interface elements that Google has added in its Jelly Bean operating system, which looks really good on the Nexus 4. Another interesting feature between the Nexus and the iPhone is the browser tabs. So on the right side I have the browser tabs for Safari browser. So this is the only way you can go to every page, and if you don't want a page, you can delete it like that. So and if you want a new page, this is where you say new page. Oh, sorry. So you say new page on the left and you get a new page there. So if you want to see all the tabs, this is how you see it. But on the Google, so on the Google Nexus 4 it's a Chrome browser, so you have basically 4 tabs open now. So if you see, I'll just move the second tab, and they provide a very nice implementation of I can either move it left or right. In case maybe I can just dismiss it out like that. I can just dismiss this either to the left or the right. You look at the animation, it's really perfect, and they've really concentrated on how smooth animations can get in Jelly Bean, and it really looks very gorgeous on the Nexus 4. Definitely a better implementation than Apple. To each has its own strengths, but I think I prefer the Nexus 4 over the iPhone in this regard. This is just really too good. So another thing is obviously the maps. Apple drew a lot of flack for their maps, which I will just show you in a moment. It's here. So we'll also go to Google Maps similarly. So there you see, it's actually both pointing to where I am. So one of the things is if you press that button there, it gives a tilt on the map, which is really good in understanding the streets much better. The view is really good. You know, you don't have this tilt kind of view in Apple, and that kind of not very good. So there you see, I'm there, and it's a tilt. It just gives a tilt of the landscape. So here, not much of information available, and you know, it's not really good. So this is one of the other elements of the maps that I really liked on the Google, and since it's a bigger screen, it looks all the more better. And yeah, the Google Maps app is also back on iPhone, which I have downloaded here. Now with this you get the same thing as what's there. You see it's exactly the same, but still, you know, these kind of tilt functionalities are better experienced with the Nexus phone or any other, you know, Google based phone rather than the iPhone. Though this comparison is not exactly between the iPhone 5 and the Google Nexus 4, what you must remember is the iPhone 5 is just bigger in size with more icons on the screen. It pretty much has the same kind of, it's the same OS, iOS 6, and in comparison to Jelly Bean, I think Jelly Bean is really improved a lot from where Ice Cream Sandwich was, and with Google Jelly Bean, LG's hardware with 2 GB RAM and all kinds of software functionalities like the maps and Google Now and voice search, which I just showed you, I think the Google Nexus 4 really wins this show across with the against the Apple. So basically Apple has a long way to go to catch up with where Google is right now, and in just a couple of months Google is coming up with what they call as the Key Lime Pie, which is the next version of the OS after Jelly Bean, and definitely there will be some more improvements and interesting things to look forward to. So I hope you enjoyed this comparison, and if you like this video, please do share it with others so that they also are able to understand the differences between the two phones, both in terms of hardware and software. And the obvious choice for what you need to buy is very simple. The iPhone 4S 32 GB cost me a little over 30,000 in Indian rupees, and the Google Nexus 4 cost me about $393 for a 16 GB version, but still it works out around 20 to 21,000 rupees. And for the difference of 10,000 rupees lesser, I get a bigger screen, more RAM, almost like twice or 4 times the RAM, as the case may be, and a very good screen, gorgeous screen, and lots of useful functionality. So until next time, until my next review, it's Srikanth saying goodbye to you all. Thank you.